There's a Volkswagen Golf in Germany right now with over 500,000 kilometers on the clock. Still running, still daily driven, still passing inspection. Meanwhile, the exact same Golf, same engine, same factory, same parts, gets sent to the scrapyard in America at half that mileage. Same car, two completely different lifespans. So what's actually going on here? It's not the build quality, these cars roll off the same assembly lines. It's not luck, and it's definitely not some secret German market engine they're hiding from the rest of us. The truth is, the way a VW is driven, fueled, serviced, and even parked in Germany is radically different from how it's treated almost everywhere else. And those differences quietly add up to years, sometimes a decade, of extra life. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why German VWs outlast their twins overseas, and the specific habits you can start copying today to make your Volkswagen last far longer than it ever should. Some of these you've probably never heard of, and a few might be the exact things you're getting wrong right now without even realizing it. Let's get into it. Number 1, the Autobahn myth and the truth underneath it. Let's start with the thing everyone thinks they understand, the Autobahn. Most people outside Germany hear no speed limit and picture engines getting destroyed, VWs screaming down the highway at 200 kilometers an hour, redlining until something blows. It sounds like the fastest way to wreck a car. So how does the country with the world's most famous high-speed roads also produce some of the longest living Volkswagens on the planet? Here's the part nobody tells you. Driving fast isn't what kills an engine. Driving badly kills an engine. And the way Germans use the Autobahn is actually one of the gentlest things you can do to a car, even at high speed. Think about what your VW experiences in stop-and-go city traffic. Constant acceleration, constant braking, the engine never settling into a rhythm, the transmission shifting up and down hundreds of times in a single commute, the oil never quite reaching its ideal operating temperature before you're stopped at another red light. That's the environment most VWs live in around the world. Short trips, cold starts, idling in traffic, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Now, picture the Autobahn. The engine warms up fully and stays warm. The RPMs hold steady. The oil reaches the exact temperature it was engineered to run at, burning off moisture and contaminants instead of letting them sit in the engine. The car is doing the one thing it was actually designed to do: run at sustained, consistent speed. To a well-built VW engine, that's not punishment. That's a workout it was born for. And here's the key. Germans don't just drive fast, they drive deliberately. They warm the car up before they push it. They don't floor a cold engine, they let it breathe. Speed in Germany is earned gradually, not slammed into the second the engine turns over. So the Autobahn isn't shortening the life of these cars. In a strange way, it's extending it. And that completely flips the first assumption most people make. But the road is only the beginning, because what Germans put into the car matters just as much as how they drive it. Number 2, what goes in the tank? What Germans put into the car matters just as much as how they drive it. And this is where things start to quietly separate a long-lived VW from a short-lived one. Let's talk about fuel first. In Germany, the standard fuel most drivers pump into their cars is a higher octane than what's considered normal in a lot of other countries. What's sold as premium in America is closer to the everyday baseline at a German station, and VW engines, especially the turbocharged ones, were designed and tuned around that higher quality fuel from the very beginning. When you run these engines on lower octane, lower quality gas, you're not going to see the damage today or tomorrow. But over years, that mismatch causes more carbon buildup, more strain on the engine, and more of those small inefficiencies that slowly wear parts down before their time. It's not that one tank of cheaper fuel ruins anything. It's that hundreds of them, over a decade, add up. Then there's the fuel system itself. German fuel standards are strict. The additives, the detergents, the consistency of what actually comes out of the pump are tightly regulated. That cleaner fuel keeps injectors, valves, and the combustion chamber far cleaner over the life of the car. In places where fuel quality is inconsistent or loaded with cheaper additives, that gunk builds up faster, and the engine has to work harder to do the same job. But fuel is only half of it. The bigger story is what Germans put into the engine itself, the oil. And this is where the gap between a German VW and the same car overseas really starts to widen. Germans, on the whole, take oil almost seriously enough to be religious about it. They use the correct VW specification oil, not just any bottle off the shelf that says it fits. Volkswagen has very specific oil standards for their engines, and in Germany, those specs are followed closely, often by mechanics who've worked on nothing but these cars their entire careers. The right oil, changed on time, with the right filter. It sounds almost too simple to matter, but oil is the single most important fluid keeping that engine alive, and using the wrong type or stretching it too long between changes is one of the most common ways VWs get quietly destroyed everywhere else in the world. In a lot of countries, oil changes get delayed to save money, or the cheapest possible oil gets used to cut corners. In Germany, that's almost unthinkable. The car gets what the car was designed to take, every time. So before a German VW has even hit its first major service, it's already been fed better fuel and better oil than the same car will likely ever see in another country. That's a head start that compounds for the entire life of the vehicle. And speaking of service, that brings us to maybe the single biggest reason these cars last as long as they do. Number 3, the service culture. Service. This might be the single biggest reason a German VW outlives the same car everywhere else. And it's not about money, it's about mindset. In Germany, maintenance isn't something you do when the car finally starts making a noise. It's something you do so the car never makes that noise in the first place. There's a word that gets thrown around in German culture, Wartung, and it basically means upkeep, care, looking after something properly. It's not a chore you put off, it's just part of owning the machine. You maintain the car the way you'd maintain anything valuable you intend to keep for a long time. And that shift in thinking changes everything. Most VW owners around the world run their cars reactively. Something breaks, then they fix it. A light comes on, then they react. The problem is that by the time a car is actively showing you a symptom, the damage has usually already been happening for a while underneath. You're not fixing the problem, you're cleaning up after it. Germans run their cars preventively. The service schedule isn't a suggestion, it's a calendar they actually follow. Fluids get changed before they break down, where parts get replaced before they fail. Small issues get caught while they're still small and cheap, instead of being left to grow into the kind of repair that totals an older car. A worn part the size of your thumb, ignored long enough, can take out a component that costs more than the car is worth. Germans simply don't let it get that far. There's also the inspection system, the TÜV. Every couple of years, a German car legally has to pass a genuinely strict roadworthiness and emissions check. And this isn't a quick glance and a rubber stamp, it's thorough. If something's worn, leaking, rusting, or unsafe, the car doesn't pass. And if it doesn't pass, it doesn't legally drive. So owners are constantly motivated to keep the car in genuinely good condition, not just good enough to limp along. That regular, enforced checkup catches the kind of slow decay that goes completely unnoticed in countries with little or no inspection at all. Then there's who is doing the work. In Germany, there's deep mechanical knowledge baked into the whole car culture. Mechanics are highly trained, often through rigorous apprenticeship systems, and plenty of owners know their way around the car themselves. The work gets done properly, with the right parts and the right specifications, not bodged together with whatever's cheapest to make the problem disappear for a few months. Put it all together and you get a car that's being looked after constantly, correctly, and early. Compare that to the same VW in a country where it's serviced late, with the wrong parts, only when something's already gone wrong, and you can see how two identical cars end up living completely different lives. But maintenance is what people do to the car. There's another factor that has nothing to do with the owner at all, and it's working against your VW every single day, whether you touch the car or not. Number 4, the enemy you can't service away. Here's the factor that has nothing to do with how you drive or how well you maintain the car. It's working against your VW around the clock, whether the car is moving or sitting in your driveway. Rust. Rust is the silent killer of cars everywhere, and it doesn't care how perfect your engine is. You can have a flawless drivetrain, fresh oil, a transmission that shifts like the day it was built, and none of it matters if the body and the underside of the car are quietly rotting away beneath you. An engine can be rebuilt. A rusted-through structural frame usually means the car is finished. And this is where geography quietly decides a car's fate. In a lot of the world, the enemy is salt. In regions with hard winters, roads get absolutely coated in road salt to melt ice. That salt sprays up into the wheel wells, the underbody, every seam and joint of the car, and it sits there eating into the metal. Salt plus moisture plus time is the perfect recipe for corrosion. A car in a heavy road salt region can be structurally compromised long before its engine is anywhere near worn out. The mechanical heart of the car is still strong, but the body around it is dying. In other parts of the world, it's not salt, it's humidity, coastal sea air, extreme heat, or constant moisture that does the same kind of slow damage from a different direction. Different climate, same outcome, the car gets eaten from the outside in. Now, Germany isn't some magical rust-free paradise. They get winters, they use road salt too. But here's the difference. The car culture treats rust as an enemy to be actively fought, not ignored. Undersealing and rust protection are taken seriously. Many owners wash the underside of the car through winter to rinse the salt off. Store cars in garages instead of leaving them exposed to the elements year-round, and stay on top of the small paint chips and surface spots before they can blossom into real corrosion. And remember the TÜV inspection. Rust that compromises the structure is one of the things that can fail a car outright, so there's a legal incentive to deal with it early. So while the same VW might be silently rotting away in a salted out or humid climate with nobody paying attention to it, the German car is being shielded, rinsed, stored, and checked. The metal lasts longer, and because the body survives, the car gets to keep living long enough for that famously durable engine to rack up the kind of mileage that makes people online say they don't build them like they used to. They build them exactly like they used to. We just don't always take care of them like they did. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it might be the most surprising of all, because it's not about the car at all. It's about how people think about the car. Number 5, it's not the car, it's the relationship. Here's the final piece, and it's the one almost nobody thinks about, because it's not mechanical at all. It's psychological. It's the relationship a German driver has with their car. In a lot of the world, a car is treated as a disposable appliance. You buy it, you use it, you run it into the ground, and when it starts costing money, you get rid of it and grab the next one. The car is a tool to be used up. There's no real attachment, no long-term thinking, just does it start tomorrow morning? And when your whole mindset is short-term, every decision you make follows that logic. Skip the service, ignore the noise, use the cheap part, sell it before it becomes someone else's problem. Germans, broadly speaking, think about cars completely differently. There's a respect for engineering, a pride in machinery, and a long-term ownership mentality baked into the culture. A car isn't something you use up and throw away. It's something you take care of, so it takes care of you for as long as possible. The goal isn't to survive until trade-in. The goal is to keep the car genuinely healthy. And that single shift in thinking quietly drives every good habit we've already talked about. Why do they use the right oil? Because they're keeping the car. Why do they follow the service schedule? Because they're keeping the car. Why do they fight the rust, warm the engine, fuel it properly, fix the small things early? Because in their mind, this is their car, and it's going to be their car for a long, long time, maybe even passed down. When you plan to keep something for 15 or 20 years, you naturally treat it better today. Every choice is an investment in a future you actually intend to be around for. Compare that to an owner who's already half planning to dump the car in 3 years. That person isn't going to baby a cold engine or rinse salt off the underbody in the middle of winter. Why would they? In their head, it's already someone else's problem. That's the real secret. The German VW and the overseas VW aren't different cars. They're the same machine handed to two completely different mindsets. And the mindset is what decides whether that car sees 200,000 kilometers or 500,000. The engineering gives the car the potential to last. Everything we've covered today, the driving, the fuel, the oil, the service, the rust protection, the long-term care, that's what actually unlocks it. Volkswagen builds a car capable of going the distance. Whether it ever gets the chance, that part has always been up to the person holding the keys. And the best part? Every single one of these habits is something you can start doing right now. You don't need to live in Germany. You don't need a special car. You just need to treat the one you already have the way it was always meant to be treated. So the next time someone tells you German cars are just built better, now you know the real story. It was never just the building, it was the keeping. So here's the truth. The VW in a German driveway and the one parked overseas are the exact same car. Same metal, same engineering, same potential. What separates them is everything that happens after the factory. The fuel, the oil, the service, the rust protection, and most of all, the mindset of the person holding the keys. And the best part? None of it is out of reach. You don't need German roads or a German garage. Warm the engine before you push it, give it the right oil and fuel, stay ahead of the service, and fight the rust early. Do the small things every time, and your VW will reward you with years and miles most owners never see. Because these cars were never built to be thrown away. They were built to last. The only question is whether you'll be the owner who lets it. If this changed how you see your car, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe if you want more of the hidden truths that keep these cars alive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.